doing good or bad.
So I kind of want to dig in more about LGBTQI community as well as gender, sex, right? What I would suggest people is like be open to conversations, right? Because a lot of people still are scared to ask,
Yeah.
and a lot of people are still scared to tell. Okay,
Yeah.
so if you don't have the conversation, it will never be normalized. Since a lot of people talk about this, can like children be manipulated into having an altered gender?
Altered gender or sexuality? Both.
Both, yeah.
Children, of what I have noticed, the only way children have been manipulated into a different sexuality orientation is when they have been molested. A boy being molested by their uncle or the father or someone as a kid, it plays up in their head, and they could start having feelings for men because of that, as well as women. So that I've seen, but otherwise you cannot alter someone's mind by I'm just giving he for now, if a boy, because me, if there were so many women around in my life, beautiful women. I may have seen porn where there's a girl and a guy. You couldn't alter me to change and just look at the woman when, I was seeing the guy. So I think children cannot be altered. It is something that you are born with. It's a certain quality that you are born with, and you will be that way, and it will not change. When it comes to bisexuality, then there are different spectrums. You may have phases where you like men more, women more, things like that. That I'm no one to speak because I'm not. But if you are gay, you will be gay. And from the age of 4 or 5, I remember having a crush on my male teachers. My male teachers in school, and it never changed. There was never a time where I was thinking I was seeing a lady nude and feeling good about it, and imagining seeing a lady nude and imagining about it. But I was seeing a man nude and like feeling. Yeah, it's just who you are, and it's as your personality is formed. You are, as people see some personality in the child, it's already instilled in you.
In the Western world, there's a narrative that like people are still skeptical about letting children change their gender before the age of 18, right? So what is your opinion on that?
So changing your gender. So this is for gender.
Before age of 18.
I think in today's time, kids know very early what they want. And that is amazing. That at such an early age, you already know. I know of some people who are already who already identify as a different gender, the opposite gender, and I've seen them grow. And with their parents' support, they've become the best version of themselves. They haven't had to deal with sticking till 18 to be a gender you don't identify with. If I was a trans woman, if I was a trans woman and I had to wait till 18 to turn into a woman physically, I would have been scarred by then. It's too late. There's some people who realize it later in life, and that's fine. But if you realize it early, you're blessed. And with today's education and with children having the resources to know what it is to be transgender, they can make a decision for themselves. No one will want to go and just force themselves or manipulate themselves to be a different gender when it is difficult to be transgender in today's world still. So I think if a child at an early age has understood that they are not comfortable in that gender, great, start working on changing it. Be your best, be who you are, who you want to be as soon as possible.
What about changing things in your body before the age of 18?
Oh, like physically, like an operation?
Yeah.
I don't know how that works scientifically. If sometimes they say maybe it not be safe. I don't know if it is safe till your organs are fully grown. So not necessarily 18 if your organs and all are fully what's it called, like grown by, I think they'll be like 14, 15, 16 years, then maybe, I guess, I don't know if you are allowed to, that is the doctors, I don't know about the safety way, but I've seen trans men who at 13 only have realized that they are trans, and he's like wrapped cloth tightly around the breasts before it could even grow. So now he doesn't have breasts at all naturally because he knew it, So there are things you can do at an early age.
When I researched about this narrative came from this perspective where till 18, like, because all the big changes comes after 18. Till the age of 18, your brain is, I think, pretty much developed to a point where you can make rational decisions, like drinking, smoking, like driving, right?
Yeah.
So like after that only you're able to change your gender, because a lot of people might still be not sure, right?
Yeah.
Like what if they change their body and they realize that it's not? Because I think
Then it was their decision. I think they felt like they wanted to change it then, and now they want to change it back. I feel like people give a lot of changing your gender. No biggie. If you feel like you don't believe in it, change it, and it's great if you can be able to change it. Because you're growing and you're also forming your personality, and if your personality, you're born a male and you don't identify as a male. You cannot wait till 18. It's too late. If you felt that when you are 8, 9, I mean, you don't have to fully get into a surgery, but your parents need to be accepting. And you see so many girls dress up like boys forever growing up. So many boys dressing like girls growing up, and that is their form of being transgender, like being being able to identify. That's how they identify themselves, as being transgender. So to change, to go under the operation, that I don't know what age is safe to do it, but if the doctors say it's not safe to do it before 18, then obviously safety is first. But apart from that, I think it's great. I mean, I would have known I'm gay when I was 5 or 6 if I had all these resources, and it would have made me less confused in the head for 10 years that I didn't know I was gay. So it's great to see people understand who they are, their gender, transgender people to realize, because there are people who realize it at 60, and they feel like they may have missed out in life.
I think you were very I think you said in a podcast that you encourage people to speak out quickly, right? When like don't suppress what you are, right? I think you told that, right? Except even if it's privately, accept it. Don't suppress it.
Yeah, don't suppress your thoughts.
Yeah. I think so. I think I could relate that with Caitlyn Jenner, right? Where she suppressed her gender, right? But I think that affected, like, she came out a bit later, which I think affected her family, right? Yeah. So that like people around you might not get affected. Was that your narrative as well?
Yeah. So I feel like even if you don't want to tell anyone, by yourself, don't have hate towards it.
Yeah.
And it may be difficult to do that for a lot of people, because you are grown up told this is bad, these are the slurs, being gay, that was used as like slurs to make people feel bad. So you could have a lot of self-guilt and hate, but I keep telling people that there's nothing wrong, and just try to accept it within yourself. If you don't want to ever tell anyone ever that you're gay or you're anything, accept it within yourself, so that you are at least at peace, and don't
hate yourself.
Don't hate yourself, and even if you really feel guilty about it, at least accept yourself and say, this is me. Don't block it out, because everything else will come after you remove that blockage.
A lot of people I think it was around lockdown period, right? The new concept of they them came around. Right, people identifying themselves as they.
Yeah, not lockdown, but I think people got to know about it.
Yeah,
during lockdown.
People personally, for me, I got to know it around the lockdown period, right? But for me, it was kind of like I was not aware of it, so it was shocking for me first, because what I have learned in school was they them is normally referred to a lot of huge, like a crowd, they them, right? And a single person using it was kind of different. But I got around and I knew, oh shit, this was because they don't want to be associated with the stereotypes of she or he, right? So what's your opinion about this?
So I think, with people being able to be themselves in the world, in the West and everywhere, and being able to have opinions about yourself and understand what they truly feel, and with people not prosecuting them, putting them to jail, they are being able to tell who they are and what they feel. There's so many people, we'll never be able to understand that, because we have not faced it. Like, you will not be able to understand why I'm into another guy, and I will not be able to understand what you see sexually in a girl, because we don't feel that way. But so in the beginning I was also like, oh, interesting, what is this? Like, there are people who there's some who wouldn't like to be called he, him, or she, her, and then that's where they them also comes, non-binary. And there's some people who protest with the idea of gender being a construct where like why are we making gender so important, because there's so much inequalities, right, and so many stereotypes for different genders. So for some it's like I want to be non-binary, where they them is I'm not he or her, I'm they them. You consider they them as one, where we do not categorize someone on the basis of gender. And I think that's great, because slowly this whole concept of gendering needs to go. It may seem like, oh, it's only he and her, but the division causes a lot of barriers in the world and a lot of inequalities and a lot of complications. And
it's still an evolving thing.
There's a long way to go, but I think it's a great start, and it's good, it's powerful to see more people come out as non-binary.
So I wanted to kind of learn about what gender and sex is. What could you explain kind of like the difference between them?
This is I feel like I'm being questioned for so I think gender, like sex is what you are assigned at birth, male, female, intersex, the three, if I'm not mistaken. And then gender is what you identify with, because then there's what's it called, transgender and cisgender. Not me forgetting cisgender. So sex is what you're assigned with.
Because I wanted to I wanted to ask another question like leading up to that, where like can a person say that biologically there are only two genders?
No, biologically there are three.
Three?
People don't intersex, no? The one which is where the organs are not formed. It's like semi-vagina, semi-penis. So biologically there are three. It's just that people don't give...
But as socially, like you can identify as anything.
What are the other genders then? There's male, female, intersex, and... What else?
I think, those three.
And then non-binary means out of the whole binary of genders, right?
Yeah.
It is that, but also what are the other? It is that only.
Yeah.
But people don't give attention to intersex, and I think that is also coming up with the whole LGBTQIA+.
The reason that I ask these questions are because a lot of people who I talk to, they're not comfortable asking these questions because they might think the other person might get offended, right? I think that kind of what's it called, restriction, like that kind of restricts the whole awareness as well, because if you're not talking about it, if you're not making it normal, people won't know it, right? So like, have you had any experience where like people are really uncomfortable about asking you, and then you kind of educated them?
People do get scared, but if they come from a good place where they want to understand, and I tell them, or if they come from a place where they're just being a dick and like trying to say what is this, then I school them. But there are some people from the queer community who get upset because this is a question they always have to answer, and that's annoying. And that their point of view, which many times is my point of view, also like go to the Google and read up, and then if you don't know, just say I read this and I don't understand this part. And Google has so many things like people are being asked too much anyways, but it's okay to ask. From my side, if someone asks me genuinely, I would love to tell them, because we still need to educate so many people. Even in TikTok, I keep saying the same thing again, that this is how it is. People